of Sopwell Nunnery. The origin of this film is uncertain, but it connects us to the earliest known films. Moving pictures were seen for the first time in about 1895, about 20 years before this. In those days, they were short. The technique rested on the development of each frame separately. St Albans has a very strong link with the invention of the film camera and the earliest production of silent movies. By 1892, Bert Akers, a man from Barnet, developed a device for taking a series of pictures, one after the other, which would capture the movement of waves or clouds. In January 1894, he filmed the opening of the Manchester Ship Canal, and later in the year, the Henley Regatta. In both cases, his camera person was Arthur Melbourne Cooper. In spring 1896, Lumiere just beat Bert Akers to be the first person to show a moving picture to the general public in London, showing in Regent Street on the 20th of February, just before Bert's showing on the 21st of March at Piccadilly. Arthur Melbourne Cooper's father, Thomas, a photographer, lived at 1 Osborne Terrace, New London Road, St Albans. Arthur was involved in the earliest developments of the moving picture camera in the UK. An inventor named Edison was working on a machine to project such images in the US. Technically, this was a time of enormous changes and growth for the fledgling film industry, and Arthur was in at the beginning. Arthur's métier, though, was as a director, not an engineer. He was an innovator whose creativity had far-reaching and worldwide significance. He pioneered many of the earlier visual techniques still used today. And exported animations and comedies to the US which would give inspiration to later wizards of silent movies such as Max Sennett. The place where this creativity and imagination was happening was St Albans. Arthur attended a conference of film producers in 1909 in Paris. Fellow attendees were such people as Charles Pathé and Leon Gaumont, famous names from newsreel and cinema circles. In national terms, though, Arthur's accomplishments have not yet been brought to the fore. Arthur was driven by the desire to entertain. He was a technical genius and delighted in creating special effects which made the impossible or unexpected appear commonplace. He could even be called the father of film animation. This is the oldest film in this compilation. Arthur produced most of his films about 10 years prior to this. It's hoped that some of his rare films may appear in another Bygone Films production. But even this film shows evidence of some creative spirit. The framing of the cathedral within the ruined Roman wall, the rooftop shots, the fact that the film is taken in motion. As for Arthur, people are making efforts to put him in his rightful place in the halls of cinematic fame, to get his early films reattributed and to have his early accomplishments recognized. Until then, though, his talents must be enjoyed in private. Another secret treasure of St Albans. Cyril Swinson had been pageant master in 1948. Cyril was also involved in St Albans' life in another way. He was a founder member of the Company of 10. This short excerpt marks a major turning point in the lively life of this local society. In 1932, the professional theatre in St Albans pulled its curtains for the last time. In 1934, entering upon this blank stage, a group of 10 players gave their first performance of A Murder Has Been Arranged by Emlyn Williams. The Company of 10 had been born. Over the years, they have performed some challenging pieces and covered a wide repertoire from old-time music hall to Henrik Ibsen. This scope has kept an enthusiastic audience very happy and has contributed spiritedly to the artistic life of the city. Here we see Sir Michael Redgrave at the inaugural laying of a foundation stone of their new playhouse in 1967. Friends of the theatre were out in strength on this day, and the attendees included the Dean of St Albans, the Very Reverend Noel Kenneby, Victor Goodhue, the MP, and Lisa Burville Holmes presented a bouquet to the Mayoress. The years of 66 and 67 were wandering ones. After a series of rented accommodations, they were now embarking on their most ambitious project to date, making a theatre of their very own. The first new theatre for 2,000 years. The results of all these efforts can be seen these days if you take the turning at the bottom of Holywell Hill. On the 17th of April 1968, the Queen Mother graced a gala performance of The Recruiting Officer, a comedy. The new theatre was finally ready. From the archives, it is now possible to watch what happened one day in 1968, when the willingness, effort and imagination of the members came together and fused. Well, time to close the curtains on this look back. It wasn't possible to show all contributions. Perhaps there'll be a Bygone St Albans too. If anyone knows of any cine film which might be of interest, please let us know. The phone number is on the back of the box. Visiting the past can be refreshing. We hope you liked this trip down memory lane. We would like to give a big thank you to all our contributors. Well, goodbye. Hope you enjoyed it.